Welcome back. So in this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate how to spin up our front end and back end servers. And then what we will do in this lecture, I'll demonstrate how to use Claude agent and then make our front end better. So the UI needs to, of course, better because we have completed our back end and the functionality works just perfect. Now we need to just enhance our front end. Now I did create a front end earlier, but let's go ahead and see how we can further enhance it. So I'm going to go ahead and start our servers. So I'm just going to open up the terminal, which it already is. And by using the command python start backend server.py, and this is the file right here that we already have. And this is just a startup script. And this is going to go ahead and start our backend. And once the backend is running, it's going to be running on port 8000, I believe. Yes, that's the port that we assigned, which is the localhost 8000. And this is the backend. Now, similarly, we are going to go ahead and also spin up python start robust frontend.py, and this is going to be our front end server, and our front end is going to be on port 3000. Okay, so let's navigate to the front end and take a look at what the site currently looks like. All right, so it's loading it up. Perfect. There we go. So at this point, it's just simple, just code flow app, simple SaaS. 5-step workflow from GitHub URL to live website. That's exactly what we're offering. So just a quick start. There's start deployment button and the login button. And probably these doesn't work. Well, start deployment probably does because it will take us to the next page. And notice there's no menu, there's no nav bar, there's no footer, there's nothing, right? So it's just the dev edition, right? So as developers, we just create this, make sure our backend works perfectly fine before we actually dive into front end. Now, typically, if you're working with a team, you'll have a front-end designer, you have a back-end people, so it depends. But if you're a solopreneur, you're doing everything by yourself using Claude Code, and that's exactly what I'm demonstrating right here, because we are going to be using Claude Agent, and then we will design our front-end depending upon what it is that we want to create and change. So let's dive right in. So this is our front-end. So let me go back. This is our landing page, essentially, which is just bare bones. That's all. So let me go ahead and go back to VS Code and give Claude a prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and say, so we already have a simple landing page. Can you redesign a beautiful landing page with Tailwind CSS, which includes a navbar and a footer? So at this point, I'm just going to simply tell Claude to create the navbar and a footer. Now, I did not detail out what exactly I need on the navbar. I could. So for example, in the bracket, I could say login button and other menus for now, and let's see what it does. And then of course a footer as well, so make sure it is done professionally. So that's all. So I'm going to go ahead and click the send button and let Claude start the work. It's going to go ahead and of course right now it's working. It's going to take a look at the front end files, what we currently have. For example, the layout is going to go through pretty much most of these files. It's going to search for the index.html. Now we have an index.html probably in the public folder, which is a static file, which we need to remove perhaps so that it doesn't take a look at or change this index, because it's no use. We are in React. So this SaaS application is now React. Okay. So it's going to go ahead and take a look at all these pages.tsx and then the layout tsx, and it says perfect. Now I'll create a beautiful professional landing page with a navbar, footer, and modern design using Tailwind CSS. And let me redesign the main page. And yeah, there we go. So it opened up the page, which we already have. We had it earlier because I think that's what it had. And it's just going to go ahead and do the work for you. And you can see what it's actually doing as we watch Claude do the magic. But once it's done, you can certainly navigate. You can tell Claude probably to, for example, if you need to use certain colors, a theme, or any detail that you like. I just gave it just a few lines of prompt, but you could actually, in fact, depending on your own requirements, you can tell Claude what exactly do you need created. So we'll give this a moment and let it do all the work. And once it's done, we will navigate back to our front end and see how it works. So since it started to work, therefore we're getting all these errors because it's actually working in the front end and our front end is running. So let me go back to our VS Code and just going to take some time. It's going to navigate It's going to create the landing page with navbar. It's going to create the components directory and all the landing page components, which is the navbar.txs, the hero.tsx, because we didn't have those. Remember, we just had the basic bare bones landing page. So now it's actually creating all the files. And the reason why you see the red here, because it's going to delete the rest and just going to spin the code, and it's going to make sure that everything works perfectly well. And if it doesn't, we can tell it, hey, there are errors, go fix them. So right now it's creating all the components, the hero, the features.txs, that's what it's created and it's working on. So here are the components on the left navigation. You can actually see all the work that it's actually doing as it's doing it. So if you want to take a look at the hero, you can take a look at this. The nav bar is right here. The colors, you can see those. And if you need to change, of course, you can change them once Claude is done manually, or you can tell Claude to change it for you as well. So just give it a few, about 30 seconds or a minute or two, depending on what the size of the task is. And once it's completed, we will then view what it's actually done for us. So right now it's doing the howitworks.tsx, all these components that it's making. Notice it's just making it on the fly, and it's going to put everything together for you. So this is the perfect example of how the AI, programmer pair, that's your pair because you're a developer and now you have an assistant that's going to work for you and do everything that you need to make sure that you get a beautiful landing page. And not only that, you can later on apply the particular theme or the design to other pages as well. And all you need to do is just simply tell Claude, hey, that's what we're doing. So now it's working on the pricing.tsx. Even though I didn't tell all the details, right? I just said create a beautiful landing page and just minor details. That's all I told Claude. But it knows to come up with a professional design, professional landing page for a SaaS application, what is required. And now it's doing testimonials and so on. So we're just going to wait and see what it does. And if there are certain errors, like for example, page.tsx has errors, we'll tell Claude to fix it because most likely these are the import errors. So this will be gone. All these import errors will be gone once all of these pages are created that you see on the left, right? Because these are dependent. All these will be called on the page.txs. And that's how development works. So let's see where it's at. It's still, oh, there we go. So it's now on the footer. So it's going to go ahead and create the footer.tsx, which is right here. And on the footer, it's just placing all these elements within the div tags that you can see. So it saves you a lot of time to actually code yourself, whether it's HTML, whether it's JavaScript, or any of this that you want to do. Well, that's what these agents are pretty good at. So Claude Sonnet 4, that's what we're currently using down below. And it's just going to go ahead and continue to create the footer. It did create the footer. Now it's going to read the globals.css. And I think it's pretty much done. It says start the next dev server to test the new landing page. I believe we already have the server running. So before we actually do, and one good thing about this is that once it does all the changes, if you want to keep those changes, you can keep them. Or if you want to undo and go back to the original position, you can just simply undo, and it's going to undo all of these changes for you. Okay. All right. So let's go back to page.tsx, and I'm going to give it a prompt here. Can you fix the errors on page.tsx? So before we move forward, I'm going to make sure that it corrects all the imports. You could do it manually also, but we'll have Claude do the work, the heavy lifting for us. And we'll see once it's done how the page looks like. So yeah, it identifies correctly. It says the issue is with the import paths. Since the page.tsx is in the app directory and the components are in the components directory, at the same level, I need to fix the import paths. Well, it's just going to go ahead and update the paths. And then once that's done, it says perfect, the components are there. The issue might be with the TypeScript not recognizing the files. So it's going to go ahead and take a different approach, fix those TypeScript, and there we go. Now it's working. It understood the errors and the components look fine, but it's going to fix the import paths by removing the link. And then it's still taking a look at the issue. Now it's thinking that, hey, it's the relative paths. It's going to try using absolute imports. And boom, there we go. So as soon as it used the absolute imports, the errors are now gone. And once it's done, it verifies and checks if there are any other errors remaining or not. and great, the errors are fixed. I'm going to go ahead and keep all the changes once done, and it checks or rechecks all the files, and it says perfect, all the errors have been fixed, and it's going to show us the final error free. And the good thing about this is that it also gives you a little bit of report as well, so the errors and then of course how it fixed it. All right, so the beautiful landing page features, it's designed a modern design, gradient background, hover effects, responsive layout all by itself, and it's mobile responsive. I didn't even tell anything to Claude. And it's program performance optimized, it's professional, interactive, and complete. Well, let's keep all the changes and let's see if we have it. Boom, there we go. Awesome. Because our front end was running, right? So it was doing, as the changes was doing, it was actually live. So now we have a pretty nice nav bar. We have the get started, sign in, docs, reviews, pricing, how it works, features, and then here's a logo, and then deploy React apps to AWS Lightning Fast. Now we don't want React apps, we just want to say GitHub to live site, something like that. So we can change that too as well. It's not a big deal. But let's scroll down and take a look at everything you need to deploy with confidence. Perfect, and gives you all the details that you need. And then ready to experience the future development, start your free deployment, and how it works. This is awesome. It's very, very nice to let our users know that how it works. So connect your repository. Our system does the intelligent analysis, configures the AWS, and then deploys and monitor it. That's all. It's fairly straightforward. And wow, it's pretty nice. It also gave us a placeholder for a demo video, which I'm going to record and place it right here. Try it now, view documentation, and boom, simple pricing. I don't know how it came out with this, but hey, it just thought by itself and set all the pricing up. And then we have the frequently asked questions, loved by developers worldwide, testimonials are here, and then boom, there's our footer. Awesome, it looks pretty nice. So now we have a professional landing page for our SaaS application. And similarly, we can now create links and create additional pages based off of the same design. And if you want to make changes to this, we can. So I hope this helps. I just wanted to demonstrate that without writing a single line of code as of right now, because right now, if I were to go back, of course, and take a look at any of these pages that it created, for example, I can change the colors, for example. I need to change the CSS, I could do so. All right, so that's all I have. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. And with this, let's move to the next lesson.